Hello everyone and welcome back to our Taylor Swift tiny house project. Today we're gonna build the second tiny house and without further ado, let's spin the wheel. And we're getting Fearless. Fearless is Taylor's second album. It came out in 2008 when she was only 18, and I think in France it was the first album we heard of. Maybe some people knew her before that, but it was the first time that some of her songs got on the radio, I think. But I'm not sure because I only started to listen to her with the Red album some years later. And of course, we got the Taylor's version re-recording in 2021. To me, Fearless is the quintessential country album, but it also has a little touch of pop, so that's what I chose for my architectural aesthetics. I'm going for a country farmhouse, but with touches of glam that echoes the glitters and the sparkly dresses that we saw a lot during that era. Obviously, the colors for Fearless are yellow or gold, but also a lot of shiny black. So yeah, basically the theme is building a house for a cowgirl who also happens to be a pop star and who loves the gold color. So I wanted to create a house with a big wraparound porch because for me it's really the main characteristic of this type of houses. I think it was the first time that I built on a diagonal, and probably it will be the last. Well, maybe not the last because I already planned for another diagonal house on this lot, but it came with so many problems. I am not sure I want to do it again, especially the proportions when you build on a diagonal are really strange. The house seemed huge, especially the porch, but at the same time, I didn't have a lot of functional space to put furniture and still have room for the Sims to walk around it. It took me an eternity to figure out the layout, so yeah, that was tricky. And I've just realized that you can't put stairs on a diagonal. I think I knew this information because I think I already heard it in videos, but it hadn't clicked. So I'm a bit bummed that it happens to this house because for me, in this style of architecture, it's very important for the porch and the house to be elevated. But obviously, it's not going to be possible, so I worked around it by using the platform tool instead of the foundation tool. For the wallpapers, I'm choosing this bright and sunny yellow siding and stones for the chimney part. I'm finishing my chimney part by using a half wall and finding just the right height so it's higher than the roof, and then I'm closing it up by putting two chimneys side to side. I'm using horse ranch doors and windows. So I just decided to recolor the roof because even though the Fearless era includes some black, I thought that the black roof was too dark. And for the porch, I'm using a vampire's flooring. Not because it was my favorite, but because since we're building on a diagonal, every normal floorboard that we have is gonna appear diagonal, and so the only diagonal floor that we have is the vampire's one. I changed the door because since I did my little platform trick, the walls were shorter and the door I had chosen before was too high. What would a country porch be without some rocking chairs and a guitar? I'm creating an unkept garden by adding wildflowers and rocks. One thing to keep in mind if you're a beginner at landscaping is to use 1 or 2 packs at the time because all the plants and trees are gonna fit really well together since they are coming from the same pack. Here, all the flowers and bushes I'm using are coming from the horse ranch pack, and I also found these beautiful horse statues in the horse ranch D-bag. The porch lights were shining bright. I'm adding some shutters. I found this beautiful arch first in the debug menu, and later on I realized it existed as a normal object, so I swapped it, but I don't know why I didn't see it the first time. Now I'm using the terrain tool to create some texture. And I'm adding the green park bench from the You Belong With Me music video. I'm adding some final decor pieces on the porch. I wanted the house to have this second entrance so you could be standing by and waiting by your back door. And of course, a place to put your cowboy boots by the door. And we are moving inside. I added this massive rustic fireplace from Horse Ranch. For the flooring, I'm using the same Vampires one, and for the walls, I'm going in with this sunny yellow wallpaper from My Wedding Stories. To me, the most fearless object that we have in the game is this star-shaped mirror with the little lights around it, so I'm definitely using that. Fearless is the first time that Taylor received a Grammy Award, so I had to make sure that we had a trophy in the house. And I also added a ring from the Crystal Creations debug to propose to Juliet. For the kitchens, I used the counter from the Life and Death expansion pack. I really love the level of detail on them, but as you can see, I had some kind of a lighting problem with a really dark shadow. I think it's because of the diagonal again. I'm adding a picture of your daddy's farm and this really comfy looking chair from the Modern Lux kit. I swapped the mirror for a television. I remembered to add some outdoor seating, alluding to the fact that this is the last straw. I changed the back door to allow for a bigger kitchen. I love this Dream Home Decorator separated cooktop. I'm adding a mixing bowl since Taylor is supposed to love baking. Some cute lacy curtains. I added a lot of dried flowers throughout the build. Somehow I feel like they fit right in with the fearless aesthetic. I put down a backpack that reminded me of the high school universe that is present in a lot of the music videos of the album. And while going through the swatches of the tarot card painting from the Life and Death expansion pack, I was lucky enough to find a white horse swatch. I'm adding this little lantern as a wink to the Love Story music video, and it also has a star on it, so that's some bonus points. At this point, I felt like the room wasn't cozy enough, so I decided to put in a lighter floor. I also swapped the fridge for something a bit more rustic. And I also decided to change the dining room chairs for something a bit more country-like. I wasn't quite satisfied with the way the white horse painting was integrated in the decor, so I tried to make it fit a little better by sizing it down and then adding another painting behind it to create a new and nicer frame. I love this object, it makes me think of a local concert poster type of thing. A cute little horse statue. I'm adding some tiles to give a bit of depth to the kitchen. I love this pillow that we got recently in an event. I think it's one of the best objects in the game. It makes any couch instantly cozier. And for the final touch, I'm adding a literal golden Easter egg. And we are now upstairs. I thought that this high school year bed fitted our theme perfectly. I'm using the Vampire's bathtub, which is very glamorous, but I couldn't help using this cute little horse bath mat. And this beautiful Life and Death sink. All the objects from this pack are so detailed, I love it. Obviously, we needed a desk to do your homework. And I know that technically Taylor is on the bleachers and not a cheerleader, but I wanted to include some pom-poms because they always make me think of the dresses that she used to wear a lot during the Fearless era and that she wears also in the Fearless set of the Eras tour. I added this wardrobe because it makes me think of the sparkle emoji, which makes me think of the Fearless era. I added a journal to write about how today's was a fairy tale, as well as the You Belong With Me nerd glasses, and of course a ton of homework clutter. I added a science fair school project. And here is a little tip. If you raise the cowboy boots rack in this wardrobe, the shoe rack disappears and it looks just like the shoes are right there in the wardrobe next to your best dress. Stars and horses, horses and stars. I think I'm starting to detect a pattern here. Back to the bathroom for a little bit, with this gorgeous black marble with a golden grout. I couldn't help but use this star mirror for a second time. And I swapped the bathroom shelf for something a bit slimmer. And I'm wrapping the bathroom up with some clutter. Now I'm adding the finishing touches to the bedroom as well with some decor pieces. And we must not forget T-Swizzle's cap. I thought it would be fun to add these sized down miniature lockers to allude to the high school context. And I am putting in the emotional support amp from the White Horse music video. And here is our fearless tiny house. I think it's perfectly fine if I do say so myself. I really like how the two different energies work together, and I think an 18-year-old Taylor would have loved living here. My favorite part of this build is probably the bedroom because it reminds me of being a teenager and being in high school. Let me know which one is yours and if you think that this house fits the Fearless album or what you would have changed. Thank you so much for watching this video and I will see you soon to create the third house.